Everyone, this video is going to look at holiday packages after 1970. Our starter today is what is the difference between Emirates Air, British Airways, EasyJet and Ryanair? Well, the kind of obvious one to think about there is Ryanair and what you know about it. So please pause this video, do the date, title and task. Hopefully after your starter task you managed to find the difference between luxury and budget airlines. I've got 4 pictures on the board for you. I'm sure you can work out which are the luxury ones and which are the budget airlines. In the chat box on Teams, can you please write which you would prefer to fly in and why? No silly answers, please. Now, like your title suggests, we're going to look at package holidays. Now, a package holiday is where you pay one price for everything. Flights, hotels, transfer, food, but crucially it's normally cheaper than buying it all separately. So that's what I'm going to get you to do now is just pause the video, go on to another travel website again like TUI or First Choice, and I would like you to compare holidays. I'd like you to find a holiday individually, so where you're booking the flight separately, the hotel separately, the transfers separately, the food separately, and add that all up. And then I'd like you to go again by looking for all-inclusive package holidays and just see the difference in price. And there'll be a bonus point for whoever can put the largest price difference in the chat box. So pause the video and go and calculate some holidays. Okay, so hopefully you will have seen for yourself just how much cheaper package holidays are. Sometimes it does work out why booking it separately is cheaper, but that's why you always shop around. So an important life lesson for you. Now, same as last time, we have some questions on the board or the screen. What changes holiday patterns? What are package deals? I'm sure you could probably answer that already. How did planes help mass tourism? What was special about Laker Airways? What happened to the British tourism industry and why? How did resorts try and increase the number of visitors? When was Thorpe Park opened? And why were 75% of holidays still spent in Britain? So this clip of your textbook is going to talk you through about package holidays and why they became popular. But your scheme of work also does a lot about consequences. So just bear in mind while you're writing this, the consequences of package holidays and aeroplanes. By the 1960s, new holiday patterns began to challenge the traditional British family holiday. Air travel was becoming more affordable or cheaper, and holidays to the Mediterranean became popular. European trips had always been enjoyed by the more affluent, so the rich. I mean, all you need to do is think back to the Grand Tour. But from the mid-1960s, large stretches of southern Europe became geared towards mass tourism. That basically means countries in southern Europe, like France and Spain, started to welcome increasing number of tourists. Now, any geographers out there will be able to think about the consequences of tourism on a country. So more restaurants being built, more hotels being built, better economy, more litter, more crime. Travel agents offered package deals where the price included airfare and accommodation. Travelling at 550 miles an hour meant that some destinations could be reached in 2 hours. Motoring holidays, which is like caravanning, and cruises became popular. Sir Freddie Laker drove down flight prices with his budget SkyTrain, which offered cheap flights to the USA. Now, Laker Airways does go bust in 1982, but it leads the way for EasyJet and Ryanair, our most famous cheap holidays. But that can potentially have a negative impact on the British tourist industry, because they have to adapt to survive in the face of competition from abroad. If I had the choice between lying on a beach in Skegness or Spain, I know what I'm going to choose. So some resorts like Blackpool remained popular, while others like Skegness struggled to maintain visitor levels. Basically, because it's a little bit boring. And if you can go to Spain for potentially less than you would spend on a visit to Butlins, why wouldn't you? Some resorts built huge leisure complexes with indoor beaches, slides, wave machines, tropical temperatures, really, really cool things to make people want to go on holiday in England rather than elsewhere. When we move on to theme parks, Thorpe Park in Surrey became the UK's first theme park in 1969, and many followed, including Alton Towers in Staffordshire and Flamingo Land in Yorkshire. I don't know why they decided to include Flamingo Land in your textbook. It's probably not the best example of a theme park. However, should you love flamingos, I guess it's the place to be. The countryside continued to attract large numbers of visitors as local authorities established country parks and nature trails. Upmarket holiday camps such as Center Parks emerged, offering indoor and outdoor activities in secluded woodlands. And as the tourist industry entered the 21st century, holiday patterns continued to change. Yet, rather surprisingly, 75% of holidays taken by British people are still spent in Britain. Now, that's probably to do with a lot of things, mostly money, accessibility. It's quicker to just drive to London than it is to get to France. And competition among travel operators and the ease of searching for deals on the internet has led to many families taking more than one holiday a year. So the internet is absolutely massive in this whole unit. Everything about leisure you can talk about the internet for everything. It is massive. It completely changes how we book holidays. So now's the time you're going to need to pause the video and have a go at answering your questions. So let's check we're all on the same page. It is air travel that changes holiday patterns. We are no longer confined to England like we were in the medieval era or to Europe like we were in the early modern era. We can now go wherever we want. I can go and get a plane to Antarctica if I really wanted to, but I don't like the cold, so I'm not going to. Package deals where you pay a set amount for everything and it's normally cheaper. Planes help mass tourism because it opens up new countries, especially in southern Europe like France and Italy. Laker Airways offered cheap flights to America. The British tourism industry faced competition from abroad, so it had to adapt. Resorts tried to increase the number of visitors by building huge leisure complexes. Thorpe Park is opened in 1969, and 75% of holidays are still spent in Britain because it's cheaper and more accessible. I would also accept that there are still things to go and do, like those leisure complexes. So pause the video, tick any you got correct, and correct any that need correcting. Now, in order to really challenge our mind and think about why your scheme of work decides to pick up on these things, I'm going to ask you a question. What fueled or encouraged changes in holiday more? People's preferences or technology? And you need to explain with reasons why. Now, you can bring in stuff from last lesson about you know, after World War One, people preferring to be outdoors, people preferring holiday camps like Butlins where everything's in one place, people preferring to go abroad rather than grotty seaside towns like Skegness. Or do you think technology is what has changed holidays more? Cars, we can go for a long weekend away now. There's a road called Route 66 where you can drive all the way around Scotland. It's a pretty impressive thing to go and do. Obviously, you've got cruises and caravans, and of course, planes, which perhaps the biggest change. So I'd like you just on your bit of paper to write maybe 3 or 4 sentences. What do you think changes holidays more, people's preferences or technology, and why? Right then, so in order for us to assess your learning, there are 3 questions on the board. You're going to need to type the answers into the chat box as well as on your paper, so it needs to be in 2 places. So why do you think amusement parks have grown in popularity since the 1960s? For this, you could think about accessibility, spending money, new technologies. Why was SkyTrain an important innovation in British holiday? So what does it mean we can do now? And why were package deals so important to changes in travel patterns? Again, think about cost, think about the internet, think about what countries are willing to take us as tourists. So these need to be written down on your paper and typed into the chat box, please. Okay, so last lesson we looked at what similarity and difference kind of meant, and now we're going to put all of that into practice. This is a leisure question 1, so I'm going to ask you to pause the video, go to our YouTube channel, find the playlist that's called leisure exam questions, and then there will be a video on a leisure question 1. So go and watch that. Pause this video though first, that might be a bit confusing. So pause the video and go and watch the Leisure Question 1 exam tutorial on YouTube. Okay, so like the video said, you will be given 3 sources, and they're always going to be picture sources, from across 3 historical eras: medieval, early modern, and modern. And you'll be asked to identify 1 similarity and 1 difference. But again, don't go with the obvious. Go with stuff you know you can talk about historically, not just, oh, they're playing games because it's fun. No, we want something more historical. You could maybe think about the purpose of these holidays. You could think about what they do on the holidays, where they go, things like that. So it's nice and straightforward, really. It's kind of 2 small paragraphs, 1 on similarity, 1 on difference. You can use the same sources, different sources, it does not matter. I'm going to ask you to do this to time. So you've got 4 minutes now to pause the video and identify 1 similarity and 1 difference from sources A, B, and C. Okay, let's have a go at self-serving. The mark scheme is pretty straightforward. As long as you have identified 1 similarity and 1 difference and explained it using historical evidence, then you're laughing. 4 out of 4, sorted. In the black coloured text, I have kind of broken down what I would expect to see in an answer. So have you referred explicitly to the sources by name? Or you must literally say source A, source B, or source C. Have you included at least 4 historical facts from the leisure unit? Have you separated your similarity and difference with a line? And have you actually used the words similarity and difference? Very easy thing to miss off, but it is important. I'm going to ask you to give yourself an S and an I, a strength and an improvement, using the wording of the stuff on the slide. And then coming up next is a sample answer for you to help you with your response. One similarity between source A and C is that both types of holiday enjoyed activities with other people. In the medieval era, holy days were rare, as most people spent their time farming. Activities in holy days include seeing family and friends, decorating objects like ploughs for Plough Monday, or giving eggs to the Lord for Easter. In the modern era, holiday camps like Butlin Shown was also geared towards family-focused entertainment through swimming pools, beauty contests, and things like bingo and karaoke. One difference between Source B and C is where they went on holiday. The Grand Tour saw rich young men go around Europe to visit classical sites in places like Rome and Greece. The Source C shows people holidaying close to home because of the invention of cars and caravans meant it was cheap and easy to do so. The first Butlins camp was in Skegness in 1936, and it was popular because it was easy to get to because of trains. So make sure you do yourself a response, probably in green pen. If not, it's not the end of the world. As always, then your final task is to go back to show my homework and complete the quiz 3 times. Bye!